sisters. We're talking about the state of Montana. Talk a little bit about your life and why you have expert advice to give to your two sisters who are now in a gang lifestyle. How did you come up, George?
I'm a former gangbanger. I've been through the violence. I've done 8 years in prison.
8 years?
Yes. When I was 13 years old, the gang, my brother came back from California, and they had me run into a bank and rob it. And at 14 years old, I robbed a bank.
Because you get kiddie time, you don't get adult time.
Exactly, and that's what they put in my head.
How many years were you in the gang lifestyle?
From the age I was 13 until 3 years ago, 27.
Wow, a long time. You did 8 years, you went to prison 3 times, 8 years most recently. And so you know what happens when you're in a gang, the violence, the expectations. And now, when you were in prison, I understand your 2 blood sisters did what?
My 2 sisters, they got jumped in the gang behind my back, and it just breaks my heart that my sisters would have to go through the same thing that I went through, you know what I'm saying, and put my mother and their father through the same thing, and they got children. And while I was in prison, my homeboys, they were my friends, and said they had my back. They jumped in my 2 sisters into the gang.
Has your house been shot up now and things?
While I was in prison, my house got shot up due to them being involved in a gang.
Some other gang wasn't happy with that particular.
My mom and dad's house at that.
Mom and dad?
With my little nephew that was 2 years old.
What do you want to see happen today, George?
I want them to quit, I want them to get out the gang because they got to choose their children or the gang lifestyle, and that gang lifestyle was going to take everything from them.
Please welcome George's sister, Carmelita, to the show. Carmelita, come on in. All right, Carmelita, you've heard go ahead. You've heard what George is saying. What's going on?
This is my life. I'm going to live it the way I live it. Yeah, I know you're upset about the kids and everything.
Get out of it, man. Mom and Dad's house got shot up because of you. Because of you and the gang and Whisper.
Yeah, but this is how we're going to live it, though. This is our life. We don't...
You should see what I went through. I lost all my kids. I lost my wife, my kids. I have nothing now. I had to start from scratch. From 27 years old, I have to start from zero. And then you at 30 years old, you want to start from there? You want to lose your children?
I ain't going to lose my kids. This isn't...
How many kids do you have, Carmelita?
I have 3 kids.
And how long you been in the gang?
Since 99.
I can only assume in the last 13 years or so, I won't ask you specifics, but you've done a lot of gang-related activity in the area of criminal activity?
Yes.
How would you feel with your kids? You have 3 kids. You have 3 kids.
They know mom has nothing to do with this, though. I go and do what I do on my own time.
Are you a good mother?
Yes, I'm a very good mother.
Well, what about your oldest son? He's already looking up to everybody. He wants to be in the gang. He dresses like a gangster. He wants to get tattoos.
Yeah, I know, but he's not going to be like that. He's not going to turn out like...
Talk about the brawl with the homegirls, the 5 at Staples. What happened at Staples?
Last year, we were at a bar, Halloween. We were all dressed up. I was walking out of the bar. Some girls were talking. I ended up fighting them. While I was fighting them, some guy come up and hit me in the head with a beer bottle. I got knocked out. Had to get 5 staples in my head.
Weren't you grazed in the leg with a bullet?
And yeah, I was grazed in the leg with a bullet. Shot up.
You told me you're a good mom, Carmelita.
Yeah.
How does a good mother engage in activities that allows her house to be shot up when your babies are there?
Exactly. Yeah, that was...
Maybe a little intervention, a little bit of help. Carmelita, I mean no disrespect, but your kids have eyes and ears. They see what you're doing. The criminal activity you may be involved in, they're watching. How is it a good mother if mom is in a gang and you're engaged in criminal activity with a bunch of other people doing other criminal things? How is that being a good mother and you're putting yourself in harm's way? I don't want to ask a tough question, but I just did. So answer that question.
How does this seem funny to you right now?
I just don't see, this is how I want to live. This is, I don't see a problem with it. I do what I do.
Can you leave the gang without consequences?
Yeah.
You could.
She can leave the game
George,
without consequences because of me.
Yeah, but George, could she and Whisper, she's going to come out in a minute, actually leave this gang without violent consequences?
I think that they could because, I would never let nothing happen to my sisters.
Is there a chance, Carmelita, we got Whisper coming out later on, that possibly you might change? Maybe.
Maybe.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay there.